Good morning from the heart of New York City. This is Food School, Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Podcast dedicated to one thing to learn and apply to eat better daily. I'm your host, Shurina from CreateYourself.today, your personal nutritionist, your personal health and wellness coach, your fellow biohacker, your personal fat loss guru, and just someone with a lot of passion and curiosity for healthy food, for nutrition, for fat loss, for changing our body, for looking our best, performing our best, feeling our best, and just anything and everything related to whatever, we put in our body. And when I say put in our body, of course I mean food. I'm very curious and passionate about healthy food and nutrition and supplements, but also the environment around us. That's what we also put, quote unquote, in our body. Even the bed we sleep in, the room we sleep in, people we communicate with, work we choose, the kind of emotions and thoughts we surround ourselves, our inner world with, everything. It's all related, and at the end of the day, it all builds us. But specifically, my thing is food, nutrition, and what we put in our mouth every single day. So today, we're going to talk about just a couple of topics that I'm often asked about, and I find a lot of people are confused about and cannot really understand, and that stops their progress when it comes to health and when it comes to fat loss. So I'm often asked or told things like, well, I've been forever on this 1200 calorie diet. I've been eating really clean, the same foods. I work out, I have a healthy lifestyle, but I cannot seem to lose those 5 pounds, last 5 pounds, or I cannot seem to lose this, love handles or the last digits of belly fat that prevent to see my abs. What do I do? I eat clean. I honestly do everything every single day according to books. I tried keto, low carb, and everything. And the problem with those people, those are good people who can actually stick to the routine, to the plan that they choose without no bullshit, no excuses. The problem is the body needs the periodization in training, in our diet, or the progress will stop. So for example, if you're always under eating, and 1200 calories for most people is under eating, you cannot, your body is basically in starvation mode. And it's okay to calorie restrict for a period of time, even for, several weeks at a time, even several months, if you have a lot of weight to lose. But you cannot stay in calorie deficit every single day for that period and expect your body and your performance to improve and improve and improve. You need to have days. I recommend people personally, and what I find effective for myself, to do at least once in 10 days, 10 to 14 days, depending how you do it, depending what kind of lifestyle you have and where you're coming from. Once in 10, 14 days, you gotta increase your calories. You gotta eat the amount of calories that you're satisfied with, that you're not controlling. So for example, for me, it means yesterday was my refeed days. Today is 4 weeks for my world fitness bikini competition. So yesterday I'm I need maybe a couple of refeed days in those 4 weeks that I get ready to my world, right? So yesterday was my day when I ate more calories, when I didn't count any calories. I ate a couple of pounds of nuts that didn't have any oils. I had macadamia nuts. I had pistachio nuts, a pound of each. I ate also on top of that all my meals. I ate some beef, I ate some chicken, I ate my salad, I exercised in the morning, but the main point was I probably at the end of the day ate 4,000, 5,000 calories on that day, and I ate it all before 6 p.m. early, and then I went for a walk. But anyway, the point is, I do that all the time, and that's why I believe my body progress continues to improve and my body fat continues to drop, because yes, most of the time I work out like hell. Yes, I'm on a very low carbohydrate diet. It's keto diet. Yes, I count my calories and I make sure that my body is in deficit if I want to drop my body fat most of the time. But then I also, once in 10 days for myself personally, I have those days when I eat more calories, when I eat as much food as I want, healthy food. Like, I never eat any junk. People ask me if you do any cheat meals, what do you cheat on? I don't feel like ever cheating, because I don't feel like feeling like crap on next day. And when you eat crap, like processed sugar, processed grains, vegetable oils, or some weird products that don't have good ingredients in them, you feel like shit the next day. And why would I want to do that to myself? Because I want to train, I want to work with people, I want to do stuff next day, I want to feel amazing, right? But the point is, I do those refeed days. I also, in my training, I do not train the same intensity every day. If you're following me on Instagram, you might see, workouts every single day that look kind of similar, but they're not. One day I can push myself until I almost throw up, and for the next 3 days I might just do, lifting that is not that challenging, just maintenance mode, lifting what feels comfortable for me. And then on some days I do yoga, and then on some days I might do something like CrossFit. So I always periodize my training, and a lot of times it would be based on how I feel. Because at the end of the day, that's how you should manage your performance and your diet. Of course, you gotta have a plan, you gotta measure your results, but you also gotta understand that your body is not a machine that works on schedule, that the body is biological organism, it's a complex system, and on different days you're gonna feel differently. So when it comes to diet, guys, to make the long story short, if you want to lose fat, if you want to get healthy, you got to stick to your plan for, let's say, for most people, again, I recommend to 7 to 10 days, sometimes 14 days, depends. And then one day, you got to go out of your plan, go out of your head, and eat as much food as you want, healthy food, but as much as you want, counting no calories whatsoever, eating till you're completely satisfied, till you're completely full. If you want to eat carbs, eat carbs. If you want to eat your sweet potatoes or a lot of nuts, or if you want to eat some fruits, go and eat that. And you'll see that your progress start moving forward again. So periodization is the key to continuous fat loss till you lose all the fat that you want to lose, be that comfortable maintenance level for everyday life, or be that competition level fat loss, if you're, again, getting ready for a bodybuilding competition or fitness model or whatever. And the second thing I want to talk about is low carbohydrate diets and ketogenic diet, and what amount of carbohydrates people need to eat or consume usually to stay in a state of ketosis, or just being on a low carbohydrate diet. So ketogenic diet, guys, when it comes to carbs, for most people will mean less than 50 grams. I would stick to 30 grams at the beginning, gram of net carbs. And net carbs, the only carbs that you don't count in carbs are fiber in vegetables, in nuts and seeds. So if, for example, some protein bar says, 25 net grams of carbohydrates, I would not consume that bar, just because a lot of brands include in net carbohydrates a lot of shit that they're not certain about, or they count it in some weird proportion to the serving. So basically, I would Google vegetables, nuts and seeds, and those would be the only things, and maybe some berries, and the fiber in those vegetables and those nuts and seeds, that's the only thing that I wouldn't count as carbohydrate. The rest you count as carbohydrate when you Google it or you check in app like MyFitnessPal, or if you read on the packaging of Whole Foods that this is the amount of carbohydrates minus the fibers. So less than 50 grams of net carbs. For people who are just starting out, I would recommend to start with less than 30 grams of net carbs. This is keto diet, and you gotta stick with it for recommended proven amount of weeks, is somewhere around 4 weeks, when your metabolism is healed and can switch freely between fats and carbs, and then you can experiment with cyclical ketogenic diet or whatever it is you choose to follow. For low carbohydrate diet, on average, you can afford somewhere between 50 to 150, sometimes even 200 grams of carbohydrates. Again, I'm talking about here net carbohydrates minus the fiber, and that depends, like how much you can afford, depends on your metabolic health, depends on your lean body mass, depends on your lifestyle, on your gender, when you eat your carbohydrates, either it's around your training. Like a lot of people, even on keto diet, a lot of athletes eat 150 grams of carbohydrates, but they schedule it around their workouts, so the carbohydrates are being absorbed and sucked immediately out of the bloodstream by muscles right after workout. So your glycogen in the muscles and in liver being replenished from those carbs, and depending on the intensity of the workout, a lot of athletes can get away with more carbs than people who do not work out that hard. So being on a low carbohydrate diet, that's probably could be like a maintenance mode for a lot of people. But even ketogenic diet, again, a lot of people can get away with more carbs once they get to this stage of keto adaptation, and once they start building and learn how to build their carbohydrates around their workouts. So for ketogenic diet, to be on the safe side, I wouldn't recommend eating any fruits really, except for maybe occasional berries like raspberries or strawberries or blackberries. Blueberries are kind of higher actually on the amount of carbohydrates, twice amount if you compare, for example, to raspberries or strawberries. But anyway, on ketogenic diet, I would eat no starch, no fruit, no grains, no sugars, of course, and I would still count all the carbs in all the non-starchy vegetables and all the nuts and seeds, because if you want to hit the mark below 50, you gotta count. You cannot eat unlimited of anything. Even cheese, even cured meats have carbohydrates, so be aware of that. And then on a low carbohydrate diet, when you want to eat between 50 150 carbohydrates per day, then maybe you can allow yourself, some fruits, and you can allow yourself some starch and maybe even some grains, depending, again, what you feel best on, what you perform best on, what your body tolerates best. But again, you want to count if you want to make sure that you're not eating too much, and ideally you would even measure your blood glucose to make sure that you're not eating the foods that make your blood sugar spike a lot. And ideally, you would consume most of your carbohydrates after your workouts. First part of the day, morning and afternoon is where our body is more glucose and insulin sensitive. So, what did we learn today? To recap, if you want to see your fat loss progress, your health progress, your training progress continuing, then you want to periodize your diet and your training. Meaning, for example, in the diet, you gotta have your days when you go low calorie, maybe low carb, on a keto or whatever, and then once, let's say in 10 days, you have one day when you eat as many calories as you want to allow your body to restore all the hunger hormones and get out of that starvation and preservation mode and rebuild whatever needs to be rebuilt, and also to boost your immune system, and again to perform better and start burning more of your own fat. And then when it comes to training, you want to train hard, and sometimes you want to train light, and you want to do a lot of recovery and mobility work, and you want to do some yoga sometimes. So that, when it comes to periodization, that's necessary step to see continuous progress. And then keto diet, low carbohydrate diet. For keto diet, I would stick to no sugar, no fruit, no starch, no grains. I would make sure that I consume less than 50, for most people less than 30 grams of net carbohydrates, meaning carbohydrates minus the fiber. And then for a low carbohydrate diet, I would just stay away from any processed foods and make sure that I do not consume more than the top is like 170 grams of carbs or so from whole food sources. And I would make sure that I schedule my carbohydrates around my workouts, and there is pretty comfortable level of carbohydrates if you are not eating processed foods. It's really hard actually to overeat if you're eating normal amount of food, more than 170 grams of net carbohydrates from whole foods full of fiber. And that's about it, guys. So if you've been on a diet forever, get off it today. If you've been training hard, the same forever, change it up. Count your carbohydrates to make sure that you're actually sticking to keto and to low carb if that's your goal, because without counting, it's really hard to guess, really. Even I'm still counting every single day. If you have more questions about low carbohydrate diets, how and what to count, if you want some more advice on planning your refeed days and changing your training to get the results, shoot me email to angela@createyourself.today, angela@createyourself.today. For the next few days, guys, we're going to be talking a lot about gut health. I'm reading this amazing book, Healthy You, Healthy Gut, Healthy You, that is all about gut health, that influences every aspect of our health and our performance. And some other exciting episodes are coming. But thank you for listening today, guys. Periodize your training and diet. Until next time, eat better daily.